welcome to another edition of Bourbon Bite-Size Learning. It is June and we are making Zubeanie boats. I'm Kacy Wiley. If you've not joined us before, welcome.
And I'm Kay Denniston, FCS agent at Bourbon County Extension Office. And I guess Zubeanie boats have zucchini and beans in them.
Yep, that'd be a good assumption. So this is a good summertime meal, a lot of fresh ingredients in them. Usually one that's very abundant in the summertime is zucchini. So we're always looking for ways to use up our zucchini, and this might be a way to incorporate some extra vegetables in your meal.
This is one of these recipes you want to hang on to and reference back to, because we constantly have people, what else can I do with my zucchini? What? It's a little early for that, but later in the season they'll be looking for things to do, and here you go.
Yep, you will be ready. So we're gonna need 4 good sized zucchinis because we're gonna scoop out the flesh. So you wanna have a good size boat to put all of your filling in. So I have already cut 3 of them, but basically we're gonna leave stem and everything on, and we are just gonna come down the middle and cut this zucchini in half. So you end up with 2 little boats. So this recipe actually makes 8 servings. So you have 4 zucchinis times 2. And so then what we're gonna do is kind of score the flesh just a little bit, just to make it a little easier to scoop this flesh out, okay? So, and then you can come right in there. And we're actually gonna use some of this flesh in the recipe. It makes a great filler, you know, good fiber with it. Now it will not use all of the zucchini flesh, but you can actually save that and use it for another recipe. So this is, you know, just really good. You don't have to use all of it at once. And then, you know, if you've got bell peppers growing in your garden this summer, this has a red bell pepper in it. It's got brown rice in it, okay? So I'm just scooping out this flesh. If you've got kids at home,
They like doing this.
this would be fun. It's kind of similar to scooping the flesh out of a pumpkin. So I think that they would really like to do this. Yes, so if you want to scoop while I score.
Okay, team effort here.
So now you all are probably used to our quick and easy recipes. I will tell you that this one does have a little bit more ingredients. Okay, but most of them are shelf stable, you know, maybe pantry staples, black beans, brown rice, canned corn. You can use fresh corn this summer. If you get some fresh corn, you can even use frozen corn with it. Green onions.
So you're faster than I am.
My job's a little easier.
It's also a good substitute. You get your protein without the meat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and meat prices, as we all know, have, well, all grocery prices have gone skyrocket, but.
Yeah, so using black beans, is a great substitute for a good protein source. And, you know, canned beans are relatively inexpensive. So, you know, you can get that and, you know, have a meatless meal occasionally.
Neatness is not required, right?
Neatness is never required in the kitchen. Okay? That's, you know, you will find we are the Bob Ross of the kitchen world. It doesn't.
Oh, I found a system that's working.
Little accidents we just create. There's no accidents, right? We just like they're happy accidents. We'll just turn them into a bird.
That's working.
So yeah, I'm just gonna scoop out all this. The plastic. I do recommend the metal spoon. Does work better than a plastic spoon because the plastic spoon wants to bend.
Sorry, I took the easy one.
No, it's all right. I gave you the harder job, so I think that's okay.
Is there any more?
I think this is the last one.
Okay, I will.
Okay, so what we're gonna do with these now is we're going to go on and pop these in the oven. We're gonna have just a lipped pan, so you wanna make sure that you have a good lip on your baking pan so the little zucchinis don't slide anywhere. We're just gonna give this a little spray. Spray. Okay, and then we are gonna put these upside down. So you want the skin upright on these as they bake in the oven the first time. Okay.
The first time.
The first time.
Key word.
So we're gonna get those all nestled in there, and these are gonna go in a preheated 400 degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes, okay? I'm gonna hand those off to Miss Kay, and she is gonna get those in the oven, and I'm gonna start working on our filling for our zucchini boats, okay? So in a skillet here, I have, we are going to put some olive oil. So just 2 tablespoons of olive oil or whatever oil you might have, okay? I want to turn our skillet on to just a medium-high heat. All right. So next I'm going to add in my green peppers, right? And my red bell pepper. Red bell pepper.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
Went to
fine.
sleep.
Nope, you're fine.
Time out.
And the zucchini flesh. So I'm just gonna quick dice up that zucchini flesh. We need about a cup of it, I think.
And this is one of those things that you can guesstimate.
Yeah, there's no, if you have a little extra topping or a little lower, it's not gonna matter one bit.
I think we've said this on here before, but when you're cooking things like this, recipes are guidelines. They're not restricting for the most part. Baking is a whole different ballgame. When you're baking, it's chemistry. It's not guidelines. It's much more strict rules.
Yeah.
That looks good, Kacy.
The color on that, you have that red, that kind of yellowy white from the zucchini, and then that bright green from the green onion. I think we are going to just let this cook for about 3 to 5 minutes until those get kind of tender. And while those are cooking, I can tell you about another way to have this recipe. So, doing the zucchini boats is a little time consuming, but if you wanted to have this meal and make it a little quicker, you could just make a bowl out of it. You could have like a burrito bowl, but with the zucchinis. So, easy way to still have the same flavors, same ingredients, but just make it a little quicker without having to, cut the zucchini and scoop all of the flesh out and bake them once and then do this and then bake them again. So just a little quicker, way to do that.
And also, you mentioned the bell peppers. And that goes back to cutting and then taking out the inside of the pepper, but stuff the bell pepper with.
Oh, that would be a good way to use this too. Zucchini doesn't have a lot of flavor itself, so somebody says they don't like zucchini, and maybe they've just not mixed it with the right thing, because it does take on the flavor of what you add to it, and this gets a lot of flavor added to it real quick.
Zucchini is what we call a filler, okay? Yeah. It fills you up and it fills your recipe and it takes on all the flavor. If you put zucchini bread, those of you who have zucchini bread, it tastes like cinnamon, okay? Because that's the ingredient. But here it's going to take on those peppers and onions and yummy.
It is really yummy. And just let that cook, okay?
It's looking good.
It is looking really good. And then to this, we are going to add in brown rice. So another great choice to get some extra fiber in with our brown rice. Also, if you've got any kind of leftover rice, this would be a great recipe to use up some of that leftover rice, okay? And then we'll add in a can of rinsed and drained black beans, okay? Try to go for the low sodium or no salt added beans just to keep down some of the sodium levels in this recipe. And then we have a half a cup of corn. So you can use canned, frozen, or if you have fresh, you can cut it off the cob and use some fresh corn. And then another ingredient that's going to give this recipe a lot of flavor is salsa. Salsa is great in this type because, one, it's relatively inexpensive. You can make it at home. You've got some canned salsa from last year. It's a great way to use that up. There's so much flavor in a jar of salsa.
And you can control the heat here.
Yes, you
can.
can.
Do mild, you can do hot, depending on what your
Yes.
family.
We are going for mild.
We're going to.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna add these 4 in there.
Also, she mentioned the rice. If you had leftover beans and rice, you could
yeah.
you could put that in there. I mean, anything. It didn't have to be just the brown rice.
The deep Chinese fried rice.
Yeah, there you go.
I know anytime we have Chinese food at my house, we always have leftover rice.
Oh, I wish y'all could see or smell this. She'll show you
Yeah,
just in a minute, but
get these
I wish we
mixed
could
and then
give you the scent. Oh, that looks good.
so tip this up. You all can kind of see those different layers in there with the corn and the red bell pepper.
I like all the colors. I
So
love
pretty.
food.
Doesn't that look amazing? Okay, so to this, we're gonna add just a few spices, okay? So we're gonna add just a pinch of pepper, okay? And just a pinch of salt, okay? And then I have 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, okay? You can make your own, which is what we did here, just a few basic pantry staples spices, or you can buy, prepackaged to make it a little quicker, okay? I love keeping some homemade taco seasoning around, again, because I can control the amount of salt that's going in that. Oh my gosh. Give all of that a good mix together so those spices are incorporated. I'm hungry now.
I know. I wasn't hungry when this started, but getting that way.
All right. So yeah, just looks so good, smells so good.
And like you said, it's a high fiber diet with very low expense.
And the majority of Americans do not get enough fiber in their diet. We are way low in the amount of fiber we get and our fruit and vegetable consumption. So this is a great way to get that fiber and those vegetables in.
We're going to turn the Americans around with zubeanie, okay?
Zubeanie bugs. Okay, I'm going to turn this down. And then we were going to add, one of my favorite things to add to something like this, and that's some cheese. So, you can use a taco blend, a fiesta blend, use whatever you have. If you just have some cheddar or whatever at home, just, use what you have.
Experiment.
Or experiment, yeah, with some different cheeses. Okay, so
Lemon
I'm just,
pepper?
oh yeah. I'm gonna reserve just a 1/4 cup of this cheese that will go on top of our bones. The rest of it is gonna get mixed in our filling here.
I missed that part earlier because I thought, is this all she's putting in there?
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, so it does look like a lot of cheese, but remember this is 8 servings. So we are gonna spread this through the 8
Some more
zucchini bugs.
protein.
Yes, some calcium.
Oh, that.
We are hitting all of our food groups here except for fruits. Get a little fruit on the side and you are good to go. All right, Miss Kay, do you want to grab our boats out of the oven? I'm gonna slide this to the side.
Okay. Which, the empty
The
ones?
empty.
Do the others?
Yeah, we'll get those out next time. All right. I'll pull out our half zucchinis here. Now we're just gonna flip these over. Okay. Yeah. They are gonna be a little warm, so just be cautious with that. Maybe they'll cooperate. There we go. They're a little slick.
The moisture.
All right. Now comes the fun part. We're gonna stuff these. I'm gonna try to line them up so that there's extra that kind of scoops over the side. It has some place to go. Here we go. Okay. And then I have found just a good spoon, just a good, about a scoop full of that. So I'd say that's maybe about a half a cup or so. And then we can kind of go back and add more. This is so good, you guys. I hope that you all give this a try. This is going to be so amazing.
Tongs and I'll hold it.
Oh, all right.
We'll do a team effort here. We'll make you not slide.
Cheese makes it ooey and gooey and sticky, which is what makes it, just kind of makes it come together, right? He may need a little bit more. Come back and add some to him at the end. So of course I have a few smaller zucchinis, so.
Watch us chase it across the board.
They don't want to stay still.
It's a little different on when you're doing it on camera.
Yeah.
On to the next one. We hope we've become regulars in your household on the first Friday of the month, okay?
Absolutely.
And we love to hear from you.
Do. That last month's recipe, that strawberry sorbet, oh my gosh, was so good.
I'll have to tell you about, because I did that at the farmer's market, and it melted as the day went on. I kept putting it back in the freezer, and then when I got ready to transport it home, it melted. That was so good over vanilla ice cream. I know that added calories and sugar, but that it was still good. And again, it was just the strawberry and honey. That's the only ingredient. We went from just 2 ingredients to a tableful.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of everything to make it.
All right, so I'm just gonna go back, and some of these that are a little light, I'm gonna kind of fill in just to make sure my boats are good and full. We want a full boat. Jesus. Sticky in. Scrape that off there.
Yeah. Ooh, that one's mine.
See, and they kind of, if you put them beside each other, they kind of run together.
If you have a big casserole dish that you can put this in and just serve them right on it.
Yeah, that would be really good too. I'm gonna scrape the rest.
Sure.
Let's not let any of that
Especially with
hang
cheese.
on the spoon. Okay, and now we're gonna take that 1/4 cup that we reserved, and we're just gonna do a little sprinkle on top. And then these are gonna go back in the oven for about 10 minutes until that cheese is nice and melted. If you know us, you know that we have already done this. And we're gonna pull some out of the oven that are ready to go, so you don't have to wait to see what the finished product looks like. Okay, so that's what they look like before they go in the oven.
And here you go. You got a minute.
And I do. So there is our finished Zubeanie boat. Doesn't that look amazing? I cannot wait to have this for lunch. So I hope that you all give this recipe a try. It is in our calendar, right? It is June's recipe. I will post a copy of the recipe on the Facebook page. So if you happen at this point not to have our calendar, you can find it on our Facebook page. You can also find this recipe on planeatmove.com. So all of the recipes in the calendar and from this year and years past, plus a lot of other recipes, are on planeatmove.com.
This is also in the June Homemakers newsletter. If you're a homemaker and get the newsletter, so it's ready to go. It's low budget.
Low budget.
High nutrition, low in money.
Yeah.
Can't get any better.
All right. We will see you all in July with another amazing recipe, and maybe from a different location in July. So stay tuned for the first Friday in July for another edition of Bourbon Bite Size Learning.
Thank you.
Thanks.